Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I got my naphthalene here, and then my methanol is boiling. You do want to be very careful not to angle this passer pipette because the methanol would be shooting out of the passer pipette towards your group mate. So make sure you have your beaker containing the naphthalene ready and immediately transfer it. Okay, other if you're going to keep it longer out, it's going to shoot methanol at people. Okay, and we don't want to waste methanol nor get anyone hurt. Okay, initially you can add a couple of squirts of this passer pipette full, but don't keep adding a lot of methanol. Okay, all right, now put the beaker back on the hot plate this time around. Okay, and then start adding little bit at a time. Take it out and swirl. Okay, anytime you're not swirling, you got to put it back on the flask. Okay, you can add a little bit more. Okay, don't add too much methanol. Okay, that's not good. Okay, add a little bit, keep swirling. Okay, see, every time you swirl, you will see that what you started with is clearly not what is present. You can clearly see. Okay, that's not the amount I started with. I don't know if you can get a good look of it. Okay, that's not the amount I started with. Clearly it's gone down. Go ahead and add a little bit more. As I said, don't keep holding this passer pipette for too long. Okay, it's going to start shooting methanol at people or on the table. Okay, we don't want either of those. Okay, add a little bit at a time, swirl. Okay, okay, it's not going down, so add a little bit more. You don't want to add too much. Okay, put it here just for a second, wait for it to heat up. Okay, and then take it out of the hot plate, swirl it. Okay, the point is you're getting more and more heat and solvent. You don't want to just load solvent because it's not dissolving. That's not good practice. Okay, you can set it back. Don't add too much. Okay, you can see I've added just a little. Okay, and every time it starts to boil, okay, use the tongs. I should have used my tongs the first time. Okay, start swirling it. Okay, okay, but then the beaker was not that hot, so I was able to get away with it. But the more you heat, you do need to use your tongs. Okay, don't use your fingers. It'll take your fingers right off. All right, please be careful. All right, now if you see just a speck of that solids remaining, set it back on the hot plate. All right, let it boil for let it start to boil, and as soon as it starts to boil, take it out. Okay, with the tongue, hold it firmly and swirl it. Okay, your goal is to add less solvent but be able to dissolve. Now if you look at it, all 1 gram of naphthalene that I started with is completely dissolved. So it's a cat and mouse game. You don't want to just load up. Of course you can add a little bit to start, and then every time put it back, take it out, swirl. See if nothing happens after a few swirls, then add a small squirt of the methanol. But the methanol should be boiling the whole time. Okay, you can't take it out of there. All right, now this is the stage where you take it completely off. All right, completely off the hot plate and set it on your table. Okay, that's it. Okay, if 2 other people are sharing your station, let the methanol run, but let it cool. Okay, all right, let it cool, don't disturb it. Okay, just set it on one. That's like I said, before you start this process, make sure you can already see the crystals forming. You won't believe it. Can you see it? All right, so if you've done it right, this should be, because methanol is such a low boiling point, it doesn't take too long for it to, okay, it doesn't take, I mean, methanol, what I meant by low is it's not as low, but certainly it evaporates faster when it comes in contact with the atmosphere when it's boiling. So it's going to cool right away and you can see beautiful crystals. You see that? So the best way to do this is, before you transfer your naphthalene, I'm going to give you labels. Please put a label with your group member's name on it, because as soon as that last phase where you saw the last speck is dissolved, you're going to push the beaker to one corner of the table where nobody touches it. You cannot touch it, because if you touch it, you're going to disturb the crystallization process, okay? And I have made one more just for different samples. You can see this is a different type of crystallization, right? Right? This is taking a little longer, okay? And this is taking, I guess I have, done the process just a little bit. I mean, there's probably little variations from one step to the other. All right? Let me come back and summarize, all right? When everyone is done using your hot plate, please don't disconnect, all right? And then call me. Let me tell you how to dispose it off, because you can't just leave things or dump them in the sink. That's not allowed, all right? We are using organic compounds. We can't just go ahead and dump them in the sink. All right, so when you're done, just turn off the heat and I will tell you how to dispose off any waste. And make sure that if you look around, all right, that's how your station looks like when you came in, right? Each of your stations, as you leave, all right, you should make sure to get some tissue paper or whatever and clean up your workstation. And if there's waste beakers that you're afraid you don't know how to do it, just leave it there, but make sure your station is clean. You see, that's how the condition of the lab is when you walk in. So when you leave, your station should look like that, all right? And then I'm going to make another, I'm going to post a file that has directions on how to write your lab report. So please do read that, and please watch these videos before you come to lab, so you have a pretty good idea on what you will be doing in lab. All right, so let's take a look at it one more time as it cools. All right, so this is where you stop, because obviously we can do one more thing after this. All right, so I'm going to come back and show it. All right, stay tuned.